Welcome back to Highwaymen Social, the Florida art podcast with the most to say about the Highwaymen art movement. This week we explore the vibrant world of R.A. McLendon, a cornerstone of the Florida Highwaymen. From his humble beginnings in Georgia to his final days in Vero Beach, Florida, McLendon's art captured the untamed beauty of a disappearing landscape. This is a tale of creativity defying Jim Crow, of paintings sold from car trunks, and of a legacy that still shines today. So buckle up as we travel the highways of McLendon's life. Welcome to Highwaymen Social, where every painting tells a story and every story paints a picture. Roy, R.A. McLendon was born in 1932 in Pelham, Georgia, into a sprawling family of 14 children. Life wasn't easy for the McLendons, who scraped by as sharecroppers and migrant field workers. Young Roy, one of many siblings, grew up in a world of hard labor, picking beans for $1 a day. But even as a child, he had a spark for art. He'd sketch pictures in the sand with a stick, eagerly showing them to his brothers when they returned from school. In 1946, the family moved to Delray Beach, Florida, seeking better opportunities. It was a tough transition, but Roy's love for drawing kept him grounded. At 18, he struck out on his own, briefly living in Miami before settling in Gifford, a historic African-American community near Fort Pierce. This move in the early 1950s set the stage for his transformation into a painter who'd help redefine Florida's art scene. Gifford, Florida was more than just a place. For Roy, it was the heart of his artistic awakening. In the 1950s, this small, segregated community in Vero Beach was a hub of resilience and creativity. McLendon, now in his early 20s, married young and started a family that would grow to 8 children. To support them, he took on grueling jobs in construction and citrus groves, but his heart was elsewhere.
Mr. McLendon was probably one of the nicest guys you would ever want to meet. I grew up knowing his family, Kay McLendon and quite a few others in his family. He was passionate about painting. He always wanted to own his own gallery, and he got an opportunity to do that. And I think he was one of those guys that was also a very hard worker in painting those paintings. He was painting paintings up until the time he passed away. And it just, tells you, to me, he was committed and enjoyed what he was doing and was a hard worker.
McLendon's early sketches evolved as he soaked in the lush landscapes around him, swaying palms, glowing sunsets, and serene rivers. Gifford's vibrant spirit and tight-knit community fueled his drive to paint, setting him on a collision course with a movement that would change Florida's art history forever. Enter Harold Newton, the original highwayman and McLendon's neighbor in Gifford. Born 1934, Newton was a self-taught genius whose landscapes rivaled those of his mentor, Beanie Backus, a prominent white artist in Fort Pierce. McLendon met Newton in 1955 and was blown away by his skill. As McLendon watched Newton paint, he learned techniques that blended Backus's palette knife style with Newton's own flair.
Harold, he was the first one that inspired me to start painting. Alfred, he wasn't no comparison to Harold painting with the knife. But he mostly painted with the knife. And then when I started first painting, that's what I painted with the knife.
McLendon's paintings began to reflect Newton's controlled finesse, capturing Florida's wild beauty with vivid colors. This collaboration laid the groundwork for the Highwaymen's unique style, blending impressionism with raw, unpolished energy, all born from necessity and talent. In the segregated South of the 1950s, traditional galleries were off-limits to black artists like McLendon. So he took to the highways, joining Newton and Al Black in a bold, entrepreneurial hustle. Armed with paintings on Upson board, cheap fiberboard framed with crown molding, Al Black sold McLendon's work door to door and from his car along Florida's East Coast highways.
When you paint up on the Upson board, you got to shellac the board. And he'll shellac the board and tack them up around the wall. If I give him some painting sometime out, give him 4 or 5, like 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock, he'd be in the $12 and come back for some more. He was a real good salesman, I can tell you that.
McLendon's canvases, often featuring people alongside landscapes, earned him the nickname Storyteller of the Highwaymen. He sold to doctors, lawyers, and motel owners, bartering paintings for gas or rent. This direct-to-buyer approach wasn't just survival. McLendon produced thousands of paintings, each a snapshot of a Florida untouched by modern development. His hustle paid off, but it was tough, balancing family, work, and art in a world that didn't always value his talent. The Highwaymen's fame didn't come until decades later. In 1995, collectors coined the term Highwayman, sparking renewed interest. McLendon, along with Newton, Alfred Hare, and 23 others, was inducted into the Florida Artists Hall of Fame in 2004, cementing their place in history. His paintings, once sold for $25, began fetching thousands, with collectors amassing hundreds. Exhibitions at places like the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture showcased McLendon's work, highlighting its cultural significance. By the 2010s, McLendon was a living legend, painting daily in his Vero Beach studio. His storytelling style, landscapes with human figures, set him apart, earning him fans worldwide. The Highwayman's story of defying racial barriers resonated, making McLendon a symbol of perseverance and creativity in the face of injustice. Roy passed away on March 3, 2024, at 91, but his legacy endures. His sons, Roy Jr. and Ray, carry on the Highwayman tradition, painting Florida's landscapes with the same passion.
The first time I picked up a brush was, I think I was around the age of 8. Because I would always sit and watch my father. And I was just watching him one night, and he said, June, he said, come here. So he goes over, he said, here, put this on. Put the clouds in. And he gave me the brush. I started putting the clouds in, and he was watching what I done. And he was going like, he was looking at me, right? And he said, well, put the bush in. So I started putting the bush in because I watched everything he did. I was just left-handed, he right-handed. Because he would always say, I don't know how you do anything with that left hand. But I was thinking the same thing as him. I don't know how you do with that right hand. You know, but anyway, I started putting it in, and he looked at me, and he went like, and he just walked away and went into the kitchen and got something, a Kool-Aid or something to drink. He just left me there handling it, you know, because he saw the skill and the talent that I had. Because for me, I grew up as an artist. I was born as an artist. I always tell people, like they tell the kids, go in your room and don't come out. You couldn't tell me that if I had crayon. If you tell me to go in my room with crayon on and some paper, You just sent me where I want to go. Because I didn't want to talk to you anyway. I didn't want to talk.
McLendon's work hangs in museums, galleries, and private collections, a testament to a man who painted not for fame, but for love of art. The Highwaymen, including McLendon, produced over 200,000 paintings, preserving a Florida now lost to time. His story inspires new artists, proving that creativity can thrive against all odds. As we close, picture Roy in his studio, brush in hand, capturing a candy-colored sunset. That's the spirit of R.A. McLendon, forever painting Florida's soul. Thank you for joining us on this journey down the Highwayman's Road.